Ooh, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Dan in the building. We here again, man. Another day, another loss. We're here to talk about it, man. The nightmare continues, man. We're here to talk about, man, the state of the Mavericks, the state of the NBA, what's going on, what should happen, what we think should happen. And let's just chime in, man. Get with us, man, as we go through this, man. Here's my co-host.
Hey, what's going on, fam? It's your boy John. Go ahead and grab yourself something to drink. Stiff drink. Go back, relax, and let it be known. Of course. What's going on, fam?
Nothing much, man. Another day, another loss. Shout out to the guys though, man. I give them credit. They fought hard, man. They play hard. For those who don't know, Dallas only had 7 available bodies. I don't remember a time where I remember actually seeing this, where a team only had 7 guys that you could actually suit up and play. They had 9. They had 9 guys. So they can actually suit up and play. I don't know how many did they play all 9? They played all 9 and needed all 9 too.
Had to.
Dallas fought hard, man, until the late fourth quarter, man, where it came down to execution, and it came down to someone closing the game, man, and the Grizzlies had a better closer than Dallas did, and Ja Morant, and Dallas tried to do it by committee, and it went to shreds, man. Turnover after turnover, bad shot after bad shot. Najee Marshall had 29 and 17, but couldn't buy a 3 to save his life.
1-3.
And that's partial of the reason why we struggle in the clutch, because they were just playing so far off of him. Like, had he been able to hit a 3, Najee probably would have had 40. He had 29. Had he been able to hit some threes, he probably would have had 40. Because he was dang near unstoppable getting this out the paint. And showing love to the young kid, Brandon Williams. He carried us those first 3 quarters. He was a bucket. And he was doing what we thought Spencer would do.
Man, don't get me started on that.
Jonathan, the boy can't stand Spencer. Powell only played 8 minutes. Did he get hurt?
No, he got sorry. Well, he been sorry, but it was over all the way across the board.
That was terrible. Looking at the team stats, man. They got us in the rebounds, man. They tore us up, man.
Tore us out the frame.
Boy, they tore us out the frame. So I tell you, boy, they put us over there lapping. They tore us out the frame, boy. 60-45. Jeez. Man, how can you win and you getting out of rebound like that, man?
The only thing we won was the free throw percentage. Everything else is a deficit. Sheesh.
Man. We gave up 74 points in the paint.
Because we had no big.
We had no center to play. So Memphis did the smart thing. Drive the ball. Like, if I'm who was a big for Memphis?
I think it's Zach Edey. No, Zach Edey. Yeah.
If I'm Memphis, I'll be worried about him.
He should have had 40.
That boy should have at least 25. At least. We're guarding you with a 6'6" guy.
You 7'4".
And you're 7'4". We should have had to literally triple team you.
Facts.
We had nobody close to 7 foot. Like I just said, the Dwight Powell played 8 minutes.
You 7'4", 305, and you only got 8 points.
You got 8 points. You play a team with no center, you should be down there cooking. So if I'm Memphis, I'll be a little concerned about that my 7'4" center, he couldn't dominate any more than he could, especially being guarded by guards. Like, we would have Najee Marshall on him sometimes. Najee Marshall is 6'6". I seen Max Christie get called on him a couple of times. I'm like, come on. And I'm a Maverick fan. I'm saying, come on.
I mean, 4 of 11.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. The whole thing. Kyrie was there. Anthony Davis and them were there in attendance. Quite shocked to see Kyrie there.
I'm not.
Off of a fresh ACL. I mean, I didn't even put it like that, y'all. Come on now. Come on now. Y'all know what I meant. I didn't mean it's fresh. Yeah. He just tore his ACL. So I didn't think he would be out there. Most of the time the doctor stay off of it. I mean, the incident, what happened was fresh. You know, it was it just happened. Literally last game, I believe. No,
About a couple games. Well,
it was 2 games ago.
Yeah, 2 games ago.
So,
well, you probably haven't had surgery yet, so.
Once you have surgery, you would probably want him to stay off of it.
Yeah, but once you do have that surgery, you can't be doing nothing.
I wonder why he hasn't had surgery.
I guess.
What's the delay? What's the delay on the surgery?
That's a good question.
I thought they would have been setting it up for this week.
Unless he's using his own doctor or using his own surgeon.
That would be smart.
Because this trainer we got,
don't use nothing.
This medical staff we have is just that's how you got in this situation.
Like, real spill, guys. I wouldn't use anything on a major surgery when it comes to NBA. And this is the reason why. If I was an NBA player and I got hurt and I needed a significant surgery to repair, if I had ACL tear, Achilles, my Achilles ruptured, whatever happened, I wouldn't use a team doctor. And this is why. The team doctor is there to do what's best for the team. Not necessarily what's best for you at all times. What I mean by that is, a lot of times they will do what's a quick fix, what we can do to get you back on the court right away. And there's been so many episodes of that, like the Kawhi Leonard saga. Like when he was in San Antonio, the doctor was saying, hey, he's good to go. And Kawhi saying, no, I don't feel good to go. And they was pressuring him to play. Hey, man, you play. The doctor said you're good. He goes out there and play, messes it up even worse. Now he needs more surgery. And I think he had, since that incident, 2 to 3 more surgeries since that happened, to where he had to go see an outside, specialist. And now his knee would never be the same again. He would never be the same Kawhi Leonard. It used to be this thing, you guys. If you're young, I know you probably don't remember, but at one point in time, everybody was getting microfractures. Like it hit the league like a storm,
Career killer.
and and go all the way back from Penny Hardaway. All these guys were
Chris
getting
Webber.
Chris Webber, Kenyon Martin. Like it was just sweeping through the NBA where guys were just getting all these microfractures. And when they was getting them, they were just never the same. Like Penny Hardaway got a microfracture and he just was never the same. Like if you ever seen Penny Hardaway play, you'd be like, man, he
Tough.
nasty. And then when he came back from the injury, you was like, what happened? The same with, Chris Webber, very skilled, after the surgery, he was like, fell off. Or you look at Kenyon Martin, like, man, he lost some explosiveness. Like,
Yeah.
if you don't remember Kenyon, man, go back and watch the Nets. 2002 Nets. Go back and watch those guys. You talking about fun basketball?
Mm-hmm.
Go back and watch those guys.
Run and gun.
With Jason Kidd at the point guard, VC, Richard Jefferson, Kenyon Martin. Who was the other guy they had?
Kerry Kittles.
Kerry Kittles. Like, go back and watch those guys, man. It was fun basketball. It was fun time to watch basketball. But I say that, man, to get into a bigger topic. We don't want to talk about the Mavericks. The bigger topic is the Lakers have been on an 8-game win streak. They can't lose right now. They're a team that's playing hot. They're playing inspired. LeBron hasn't embraced his secondary role. He's playing the number 2, and he's playing it well. He's off the ball, and he's feel relieved of pressure. I mean, rightfully so. He's 40. He shouldn't, at this stage of career, shouldn't be carrying the team. But I say that to say this. It's so funny, and I told John this, it's so funny about the narrative of Luka and how it changed once he changed teams. When he was with the Mavericks, oh, man, he can't play no defense. Oh, man, Luka ain't this. Luka ain't that. He go to the Lakers, Luka can't do no wrong. Only people that was taking up for Luka while he was in Dallas was Dallas fans.
That's a fact.
The media was speaking bad about Luka.
Man.
Other fans around the league was speaking bad about Luka. Luka goes to LA. Now the whole media changed. And believe it or not, I believe the media played a big part of Luka getting traded because the whole narrative around Luka was he just don't play defense. So we have a dumb GM who traded him because he believed that Luka don't play defense. But you just made it to a finals with a, much I might I add, a subpar team. Dallas team wasn't a juggernaut by any means. When you look at Luka and Kyrie, it starts to decline rapidly fast versus the team you just played against. You lost to Boston. Dallas was supposed to lose to Boston. Boston essentially had no weaknesses. Everybody can shoot threes. Everybody can shoot threes. And they shooting them at a high clip. Everybody can put the ball on the floor. Dallas just didn't have that. They didn't have nothing to combat that. Boston had a better bench. Dallas bench was non-existent. We had nothing coming off the bench. Literally nothing. You lost to Boston because Boston was just the better team. That's why you lost to Boston. You didn't lose to Boston because, oh, man, we couldn't play defense. Oh, they was just better. It was just better. But I want to talk about this narrative, man, and I want to talk about something even greater. A few days ago, Gilbert Arenas, man, went on First Take, man, and he broke it down on the superstar of today and the superstar in past years, and how the superstar today is not respected versus the superstar of past years. And this is what he said in a nutshell. This is how he broke it down. The superstar in the past years, their their shortcomings or the things that they struggle with wasn't they didn't put a spotlight on. They only talk about what they could do well. So when you talked about Jordan, they only talked about what Jordan did great. They never talked about the things he didn't do great. They never tried to tear him down. They never talked about his lack of 3 points. They never said anything about it. They never brought him down. Even with Magic Johnson, he had to retire because he had AIDS. Can you imagine if one of the stars today had to do that? Could you imagine? Could you imagine if LeBron James had to retire because he had AIDS? Could you imagine what the media would do to him?
I was in cahoots with the mafia or the mob, but nobody they forget about that.
Or them, it's being documented of the coke they had in the locker rooms in the 80s.
Booger sugar.
Drinking beer, doing coke before games.
Halftime.
And so, like, a lot of this stuff wasn't spotlighted by journalists in the past years, but now they spotlight every bad thing that an individual has, every flaw. And one thing I like about UFC, man, like if you ever watch a UFC fight, look at how they treat their fighters. They never bash their fighters. They might say something like, "Oh man, his stand-up game isn't all that great, but man, his takedown game is great, man. His submission, his jiu-jitsu." They do everything they can do to keep their fighter in the right light, especially if that's their superstar. Not the NBA. NBA they bash their stars. And that's why you have someone like Anthony Edwards who come out and say, "I don't wanna be the face of the league." Well, and people want you to do it. I don't care what they want. I don't wanna be the face. I don't wanna have to worry about that. I don't wanna have to worry about the media looking and picking for negative things. It's gotten so much so to where now the NBA is forced to have to hand the keys to a European. The NBA has tried everything to hand it to another American-born player, but all the top players are European. Shea, Luka, Jokic, Giannis. Most of your top guys are European. And the only one with the cachet to probably tote it is probably Luka.
Which make all the more sense of the trade being facilitated by the higher ups. And I'm not talking about Dallas front office. I'm talking about the much higher up.
Man, talk on that, man. What's your opinion on that, man? That's what we came here to talk about.
Yeah, man. They get all up in all the media, gets all up the traditional media. Let me say that because we're media now, but the traditional media.
Old media.
Old media. Shout out to Draymond. We call them old media. So old media is all up in arms for they facing the consequence of their actions. So all the years and decades of bashing, and it started with LeBron. ever since pretty much LeBron been in the league, and these old media guys have built careers off of bashing him.
Skip Bayless.
Skip Bayless. And you see where he's at now. He's outlasted Skip Bayless.
That man built a whole career on tearing LeBron down.
Turned down off of nothing. Just and so now, with these young players, they see this, they see what's going on. They see how you bashing this man for no good reason, no logic behind it. And so like Ant-Man, like, why would I want to subject myself through that? Why would I? You're no longer human. When you're the face of the league like that, you're no longer considered human or looked at as human.
That and then it was looking at it. I have to take what you dish out. Like
right.
LeBron had to just take the criticism.
He could not respond back. It's plenty of years, and people was frustrated. Like, why don't you say something? It's I can't. The position.
You're a brand, so when you're an ambassador for the NBA,
like, all that's tied together.
All that's tied together. So I can't get into a riff-raff with a journalist.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm carrying the quote-unquote NBA.
Hey, yeah, he just was it this 22nd year? He just now starting to speak out against this.
Yeah, because he's on his way out, so he's
on the way. He don't care. I'm 40, so and you know when you get up there, you stop caring.
Well, he knows I'm on my way out. He knows, like,
yeah, my legacy is established.
Yeah, my legacy is established, and then on top of that, the person that's probably gonna take the keys is probably playing alongside me.
Right? So I'm just grooming him, and Cause you see how seamlessly he went to that number 2 position and got off the ball.
It's because of Luka's demeanor. Like, when you play with a guy, a real top guy, a top 5 guy, a top 3 guy, when you play with a guy like that, LeBron being a guy who was a top tier guy, a number 1 guy in the league, he can recognize it immediately.
Mm-hmm.
He just sees it, like, he got it.
Alpha, spots alpha.
It's almost like when LeBron went to Miami, like, D Wade seen it immediately. Like, bro, you got to have the keys. If we're gonna go far, it's got to be on your back.
Facts.
And LeBron, being wise, understand if we're gonna go far, I got to get out the way. Just got to.
Got to. Yep. Then on top of that, now you're getting you're not getting their top defensive guy. You're getting their second or third top defensive guy. You're getting one-on-one looks more.
Well, he gets to play a lot to his strength, which is downhill.
Downhill.
So when you got a guy like Luka at the helm, I said Luka. When you got a guy like Luka at the helm, and he's coming, and all the defense is pinned towards him. When you watch the games, he come out that screen. It's 2 guys there, and LeBron is cutting. He's coming downhill.
Yeah. Phew. What man you say?
And so he's another guy who can play, make, and finish. But now he's on the move.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not going against a set defense every time down the floor.
Yeah.
Versus being the one that's initiating the offense. Now Luka's going against that.
Right. Now that's a fact, man. And that's why they're on a 8-game winning streak.
Mm-hmm. And shout out to JJ Redick, man. A lot of y'all hated on JJ Redick.
They did, especially Charles Barkley.
It takes a good coach, man, to be able to handle what just happened. Like, that's a big move they made, and he took it seamlessly.
In stride.
And so Pat Bell made a comment saying if Darvin Ham was there, if Luka, Luka had a couple of bad games when he first got, traded, saying that Darvin Ham would have benched Luka. He would have benched Luka.
Hey, man, that's a fact, man. He's not that, man. Maybe he's a player development coach or something, but he's not
Man,
a head coach.
when you go back and watch their huddles and what this man was telling them out there, now I understand why Lakers were upset. Because I didn't know what he was saying in there. He was talking about, hey guys, defense. And he went out there and named every player they was playing against.
You know what you got to do.
So can
you know
you
what
imagine?
you got to do.
So he's out there, he's saying Jokic, Jamal Murray, Porter, Aaron Gordon. That's who we playing against, guys. They like, what? No, coach, we need some plays. Like, we need some X's and O's.
Y'all know what to do. Y'all know what to do.
You know what to do? Just go out there and get it done. Like, coach, we're in the playoffs. We need some strategy. And I see why LeBron was so frustrated with LeBron.
Okay, here we go. LeBron, you gonna set the pick. They set the pick.
Nah, he don't even say that. Here we go. We're gonna come down. And we're gonna look for a good shot. And so he's talking about Pat Bev was saying, man, he's giving motivational speeches in the huddle. And Pat Bev like, man, Pat Bev adamant, man, we don't need motivation. We need direction.
And I forgot Pat Bev. He's on there like a year, but I remember he was there with him. So
and Pat Bev said he was frustrated because he was like, man, we're lost out here. Like, man, we need to have some walkthroughs. You're like, man, we need to have, we need some better X's and O's. Like, guys, you just, it's almost like, they was playing pickup basketball. And so he's like, man, it's like there's no structure. Guys don't know where to be. They don't know where they should be moving. Guys don't know where to cut. And so he was like, that's really why the Russell Westbrook thing didn't work, because there was no structure.
Yeah.
And so
moving up to the bench was going to fix it. And that just made it all the more worse.
Well, we have a lot of that in the NBA, man, where coaches are the problem, but the players get the blame. And we see so many good teams don't work.
Mm-hmm.
It's because of the coaching.
I mean, you look at Westbrook now in Denver; he's flourishing.
Look at the Suns.
That's a fact. That is a fact.
You mean to tell me you can't find to get anywhere how to get more out of what you have? Y'all are a more talented team than the Houston Rockets.
That's a fact. And I think Suns lost tonight too.
I think they was playing. They was getting ready to play.
Okay, so they're playing. So
yeah, they're on their way to losing.
They're on their way to losing, yeah. I mean, Joker got another triple-double. I think he's gonna average a triple-double this season.
Man, but
he's on pace.
You have this narrative, man, and shout out to LeBron, man, for checking Stephen A. Smith, man.
Face to face.
He waited till he saw him. He didn't tweet nothing. He didn't put nothing on the ground. He didn't do none of that. He waited till he ran into him. And when he ran into him, he walked over there and told him to leave his son out of it. Keep my son name out your mouth. And so Stephen A. was building narrative. Well, your son is in here and he this and that. And I lead with this, man. Bronny James, man, was a second round 55th pick. He was not a first round pick. He was not a top 10 pick. He was almost dead last in the draft. Most second round picks, man, are projects.
And end up overseas.
Most second round picks come in, they are not ready to play. And teams draft them in the second round because they are projects. Draymond Green was a project. He was drafted in the second round. His first few years, he was not ready to play. He rolled the pine.
Gilbert Arenas.
Gilbert Arenas, another one, rolled the pine. When you go and look at a lot of second-round picks, it takes a while for them to develop. Jalen Brunson took a couple of years for him to really tap in.
Mm-hmm.
He was a second-round pick. He even said, man, when I played against Luka, which Luka was a first-round pick, I questioned, should I even be in the NBA?
Yeah.
But he said, I had to remember, I was a second-round guy. It's the reason why they took Luka the first round, because he was ready to play.
Your first rounders are ready to play.
They supposed to be. They supposed to be closer to playing, a la like Dalton Connect. Right? They took Dalton Connect first because he's more ready to play. He's more polished.
Yeah.
Bronny is just raw. He's not polished. But I get people want to make the, they want to get on this case for being drafted, and they act like they supposed to be drafted in his place.
Who else you gonna draft at 55?
They petitioning like they supposed to be drafted at 55. He only got there because of his daddy. He got there because of his daddy.
At pick 55.
At pick 55.
Yeah, all right. And then they don't never say nothing about how he's killing in the G League.
Well, they ain't gonna say nothing about that. They ain't gonna say nothing about nothing he do good.
He's killing in the G League.
That man almost averaging 30.
30 and 40-point games. And they don't say a mumbling word.
He is dominating the G League. And the life of a G Leaguer NBA player is rough. For those who don't know. So he has to go and play. So tonight he playing a G League game. If the Lakers play them
night,
if the Lakers play them tomorrow, he has to fly out to whatever the city Lakers are playing in. He has to be there for that game. He has to go through workouts. He has to go through everything, practicing. After the game, he must leave and fly out to go meet the G League team and get ready for that game. He's playing every day. He gets no days off. That is rough. So he has no time at home. He has no comfort. His daddy ain't saving him. His daddy ain't.
And then you got to deal with what the media is saying on top of all of that. So you got to keep your mind focused.
Alex Sarr. What is he doing, guys? Alex Sarr.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
I don't hear the media talking about Alex Sarr. And he was the number one pick. The number one pick. Not even being mentioned. And he's hot garbage. He's not even being mentioned. Nobody's called him a bust. Nobody called him nothing.
11 points a game on 39% from the field.
And he played for the Wizards.
So you got no restrictions. And you 7 foot. Watch out.
So, guys, it's just the narrative, man. If you love the sport of basketball, man, enjoy basketball, man. Like, I've never seen so many grown people want to tear people down, man.
Well, like also, what Gail said, he said is because he's a threat to who they consider, the greatest. And so because of that, they have to do whatever they can in their power to make sure who their goal is to stay in that spot.
But this is my thing, though. This is my thing. Whoever your greatest of all time is, that's fine. If it's Jordan, if it's Bron, if it's Kobe, if it's Magic, if it's Kareem, whoever it is, whoever your greatest of all time is, that's cool. My greatest of all time isn't Jordan, but I'm not going to go around turning Jordan down. If somebody tell me, oh, man, my greatest is Jordan, I'm not going to be like, oh, man. I'm like, oh, okay.
He's
Like we go through this mess, man, of doing this, and it actually diminishes the sport that you love.
yeah.
And this is the crazy part. I've never seen so many ex-NBA players
You took my point.
who hate on certain guys of today's game.
You took my point. My thing is, if y'all hating like that and y'all always quick to say they couldn't play during y'all time, how many of y'all can play now?
I couldn't because it's too skilled.
You get ran out the gym.
The thing about it is, for people who are watching, man, the game of today, yes, it's less physical, but it's more skilled. In terms, it's impossible to guard. Because in order to really stop the guys that have the skill that they have today, you have to be physical with them. You're going to have to put your hands on them. If you want to stop a Steph Curry and you can't put your hands on Steph,
how they gonna get it? As much running Steph do off these back and
well,
forth?
I'm saying you have to put your hands on them. Like when you go back and watch Reggie Miller, they was knocking Reggie on his back.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way that you could like legitimately stop Reggie, because he wasn't going to the cup. He was pulling threes.
Yeah.
And he was running off screens. And so the only way that you can just really stop him, he was doing what Steph doing today.
Yeah.
But the way they were slowing him down was I can touch him up. He come around that screen, I can throw that elbow out there.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that today.
No, that's a fact, man.
What they call defense back in the day was fouling. Like I could hit you.
Yep.
That's what they call defense.
And then they so quick to talking about hand checking. Hand checking is still here, but that's if you're a statue. Hand checking works. These guys today is not staying still or playing with their back to the, like these point guards playing with their back to the basket. They not doing that today.
Man, back in the 80s and 90s, man, there was a thing called illegal defense.
Mm-hmm.
And for those who don't know about the rules, before the rules changed, it was illegal defense. So when Jordan played, Imagine him played. In other words, that means Jordan could post up and no one could come and help until Jordan starts to put the ball
on the floor. Yeah.
So he could be one-on-one. Could you imagine the players today could be isolated one-on-one and no one could come and help until he puts the ball on the floor? And you could not stand in the paint because you still had 3 seconds.
3 seconds. Yep.
So they would put everybody on the other side of the floor.
Flood the other side.
And have Jordan way on the other side.
One-on-one.
And you could not sit in the paint. Like, yeah, you're going to kill somebody.
You're going to get 30 a night easily.
Versus today, there's no such thing as illegal defense. They can come trap you walking up the court.
Yep, face guarding you.
So, like, rules change, man. Like, things will change. Eras change. I liked all the eras for what they was. I'm not tearing down none of the eras. But just like you point out the flaws in this era, there was flaws in the old era too.
Mm-hmm. Not according to them, man. Not according to them.
You know.
They could do no wrong.
But this comes from people, man, who don't know basketball and who don't enjoy basketball. Because they only think that scoring is basketball. They couldn't tell you nothing about basketball. They couldn't tell you what a flex is. They couldn't tell you nothing. They couldn't tell you about ice on the screen. They couldn't tell you nothing about basketball.
What a flex is.
Nothing. They couldn't tell you nothing. If you asked them what the Princeton offense is, they couldn't tell you.
And they watched the triangle for years and don't know and couldn't tell you.
Couldn't tell you about the triangle. Couldn't tell you nothing about basketball.
High motion.
None of that. High motion, horns action. They couldn't tell you nothing.
Mm-mm.
The Spain pick and roll. They couldn't tell you anything about basketball. Other than whether he scored or didn't score.
Or like how they say for like Jordan, and not to take nothing from him. 6 rings. It's like, yeah, he got 6 rings, but what about all the other years he played?
They don't bring them years up. Jordan came to the NBA in the 80s. In the early 80s.
So according to them, his career didn't start until the 90s.
Until the 90s.
So 6 out of the way he played, what, 13?
Jordan
13,
lost
15 years.
Jordan like 84, 85, 86, 87, 89. Jordan lost almost 7 years straight.
He didn't win to what, 92?
92. So 8 years. What's that? 8 years?
Almost 9 years. 9 years.
9 years? Yeah, he won 92, so 9 years. They went almost a decade without winning. And talking about nobody ate on Jordan watch.
Like Isaiah Thomas said,
he said we all ate. And then Jordan never beat Larry Bird.
Facts.
He never beat the Celtics.
Or even that game they talking about, the double nickel game. Yeah, I know they lost that game, right?
And then talking about he put up 62 on the Celtics and then got swept. The Celtics swept him.
Got him up out of there.
So yeah, every player has his downfall, has his faults. They was talking trash about Jordan. Yeah, he can score, but he can't win. That was the narrative.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's weak.
He's weak. He cried too much. That's what Isaiah was saying. And it's the fact. He was going to David Stern talking about they're playing too physical.
I.e. Jordan rules.
And so Isaiah Thomas said, man, we all had to go through that. He said, before I won my 2 chips, I had to go through it. And now here he is. He complaining. He don't want to go through it. But the state of the NBA, man. All that to say, man, we have to respect. If you love the game, man, respect the guys, man, the top guys, man.
That's a fact. Let me ask you this. In regards to the old media, do you think it's a 2-party question? Do you think they're on their way out? Far as impact.
Yes and no. Now, social media has really put a damper on old media, but the big networks want old media because they're going to keep the quote unquote balance. Because new media is going to keep it real. New media is going to be like, hey, this guy played good. Hey, this guy played bad. Old media just want to stay with the narrative. If they don't like a guy, it don't matter what you do good. I just don't like you. And I'm going to always spew negativity on your name. That's old media. Like we watched for years. Skip Bayless tear LeBron James down. LeBron James won a ring, and he still was tearing this man down.
So, far as impact, or their limited time for as impact, what time frame do you give them to where they lose their impact?
That's tricky because now they getting on social media now. You got Skip Bayless on social media. You got Stephen A. on social media.
And Skip Bayless, his is trash. He don't count.
Yeah, because his boy, he don't got a counterpart. What made him was his co-host. First was Stephen A. And then later was Shannon Sharp. When he lost Shannon, that was it.
That was it. That was a wrap.
People was tuning into the show because of Shannon Sharp, not because of Skip Bayless.
And it went down so fast. It went down so fast.
But the thing about Shannon Sharp, he was honest. He said, I don't know a lot about basketball. I'm a football guy. That's all, that's what I played my career. And so he didn't get on there, bashing guys or whatever. He liked who he liked. He liked LeBron. That's my guy.
Mm-hmm.
But Skip Bayless was like, Jordan, my guy, and I'm a bash LeBron. This is the same guy that says that Kevin Durant is gonna go down. It was early in LeBron's career. KD's gonna go down as a higher ranked player than LeBron James. He was big on that train.
Yeah, KD couldn't do no wrong in that man's eyes.
Couldn't do no wrong. It wasn't until he found out, like, oh, Kevin Durant really ain't that guy. He's talented, but he's not that guy that you think or the guy that we wanted him to be. When you look at his talent, you say he has top 10 all-time talent, without a doubt. He's a unicorn. He's 7 foot, can dribble, get any shot, like
efficient. Yeah,
he's efficient. He's just not that guy because he's just not a leader. And that's kind of what they're struggling with on the Suns. They don't have a leader. KD's not a leader. Booker's not a leader.
Like, if you put LeBron in that situation in Phoenix, I guarantee they wouldn't be 12, 11.
If Luka had a guy traded to the Suns,
they would have got to about the 6th spot. That's a fact. That is a fact.
The Lakers will be able to beat Jokic because of Luka. Because you have someone who can match Jokic in points, in rebounds,
for triple-double,
and assists.
And so they cancel that out. Then who's going to match Bron?
So now it's basically Bron versus Murray.
And Murray is not the same.
And Reeves versus Porter.
Yep. Everybody else is a wash after that point.
Luka is the X factor. And media is finally shining light on that. He was the X factor for the Mavericks. The reason why the Mavericks were winning, and people are like, man, how the Mavericks get to the finals? It's because of number 77. When we face teams, you be like, man, I don't know how we're gonna play them. We were supposed to get washed by Minnesota.
That's what they said. They told us to bring our A.
OKC now has a chance.
But
I can see them getting to the Western Conference. It would be a good match.
Yeah, I would say that.
I would want to see personally OKC versus the Lakers.
That would be a good series.
I can see that going close to 7.
That would, yeah. That's going to be a tough series there. Yeah. So what do you think?
Only thing that would stop the Lakers, only thing that would stop them is having a legit big.
But how many legit bigs are they really going to face like that? Besides Jokic.
Okay, see, when you got Shet and Hardenstein, they're going to
Shet can't stay healthy.
I mean, but he's going to be there in the playoffs. Like, he's going to pose a threat. With him being able to score, like, he's going to pose a threat.
Yeah.
And then he gives you something that always poses a threat. He can stretch the floor, which is going to spread your defense out.
Yeah.
And now you're not going to have a big to protect the rim. Like, Jackson Hayes is going to have to be on the perimeter.
I don't think he's comfortable enough to be out there like that.
Well, not only just comfortable, but now when Shai's driving, you have no resistance.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
So I think that's going to pose a threat. I think that's the thing that will hurt them. Denver only has one big, so it's just Jokic. So when he goes out, you have some type of relief when he goes out.
Yeah. Now, if you run it up while he's out, then
Now, OKC, they have Shed, and then they coming back with Hardenstein.
yeah. Yeah.
Now, if I'm Lakers, if you do make it out the West, the one team that you don't want to face is Cleveland.
Yeah, Cleveland, boy, that's a juggernaut there, boy.
Well, not for that reason. Like, if you can match their physicality of the bigs, you're fine.
But they got two bigs, man.
But the Lakers can't match it.
Yeah, you got two bigs, man. So going to the East, man, how do you think the East is going to shake?
I honestly think that the Celtics are going to will beat them in the series.
Beat Cleveland. Experience,
and just better players.
So do you think Cleveland just the front runners? At least for this year?
I just think it's a matchup. It's just a matchup disparity. So, like the Celtics, like Donovan Mitchell would have to play out of his mind because the Celtics can put 5 guys on the floor who can absolutely just light it up, especially if they put KP at the center position. If they run this lineup, it's hard unless you have some guys on the other side who can just get out of it. If they put the lineup of Peyton Pritchard, White, Tatum, Brown, and Porzingis.
So at this point, are you suggesting that they bring Holiday off the bench for Pritchard?
Well, Holiday's been hurt, so I haven't seen him, but Pritchard's been on one since Holiday's been out. Yeah, he's been on one. Like, he's shooting over 50% from 3. Like, he's been on one. Like, him and Derek White the other day combined for over 80-something points. Like, that's what I'm talking about you dealing with. Like, you have guys who can do that outside of Tatum and Brown. Like, when you have that, unless you have enough firepower to deal with that, because what's going to happen is the big guy from Cleveland, you're going to have to play him. You're going to play him off the floor.
Oh, Jared Allen,
because he's guarding Porzingis.
That's true.
They're going to play him off the floor.
So do you think, as far as in the East, it's just those two teams?
No. I'm not saying that Cleveland can't play with them or beat them. They can. I'm saying I'm giving the Celtics the edge. Like, Cleveland could absolutely, if they. No,
I'm sorry. I'm saying outside of Cleveland and Boston, is it really other teams in the East that's a threat?
Nope.
So no New York.
Heck no.
Well,
Jalen Brunson already hurt.
Oh yeah, he's out for a couple. They did say a couple weeks actually. Man,
Tim's gonna run them guys in the ground.
Okay, let's talk about that for a second, man. Why they keep going to getting these same coaches, especially like him? He already had that reputation going to New York of running his players into the ground, i.e. Derrick Rose. You go and hire him. He hasn't changed. And every year, especially around this time every year, or even going into the playoffs, they come up hurt because you playing these guys 35. Every guy's, especially like your starting 5, they're playing 35 to 40 minutes every night, especially with the game in hand. You still got these guys in there.
I mean,
Y'all
like you
and they
got like
continue to hire these guys.
you got Josh Hart playing the 4.
And he's 6'4", 6'5".
Like
Come
he
on, man.
runs these guys constantly through the ground. Derrick Rose came off an ACL injury and supposed to been on a minutes restriction. And Tibbs was running him ragged. And Rose ended up hurt again.
Again, yep.
So heck no, I don't trust no New York. I don't trust New York. And I don't. The only other team that's probably maybe hanging there is maybe Milwaukee.
So you don't trust Milwaukee?
I trust Giannis.
What about Dame? You don't trust Dame?
Have we seen Dame?
Yeah, I mean he's had big playoff series.
No, I'm saying have we seen him? Like, what's the furthest Dame has been?
Second, Western Conference Finals. But that was on, when he was in Portland. So you don't trust Milwaukee. I know you say you trust Giannis, but you don't trust.
I mean, I trust Giannis. I mean, I trust Dame to a certain extent. Outside of those two, what do they have? I mean, Kyle Kuzma. Did you trust that?
Kuzma. You got championship experience for what it's worth.
Man, that's out the window. When you go spend 6 years in the Wizards, whatever championships experience you had, that's gone.
When they expired.
You got losing experience. That's what you got. You know how to lose. When you play for the Wizards for that long, ain't nothing you learning but losing.
I guess it's like a growth sore. The longer you're there, the more it spreads on you.
I mean, it ain't nothing like a losing mentality. I mean, you know that.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what level of basketball you play, if you have a losing mentality guy on your team, you're going to lose.
You're going to lose.
Because, like, we have a losing mentality. Say, if me and John are playing on the team, we got a guy on our team. And the moment we hit adversity, he's like, man, we finna lose. And you like, dude, like, chill. Like, just keep playing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, those type of guys will become cancerous. Because now that he's saying that, he's going to start to play that way.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's not giving as much effort on the defensive end. Now he's not paying attention to details. Now he's taking ill-advised shots. Look at the shots they take on losing teams. Look at the shots they take.
Awful.
You're like, why would you shoot that?
I.e. Charlotte.
Or Wizards.
Well, awful.
Look at some of the shots Jordan Poole take. It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's ugly, boy.
But man, we want to talk about the state of the NBA tonight, man. We're gonna continue on this, man. It's a lot to unpack, man. We're gonna be spreading the love around, man. We are Mavs fans, man, but we're gonna give the love to everybody, man, because our team is right now. We're going through something, man. And I think the only one that can help us is the one above, man. We are in a bad way, man, and man, we're gonna spread the love, man. We're gonna give love to every team, man. So, man, check in with us, man. Continue to rock with us. Continue to show us love, man. You, man. Follow us on all social media platforms, man, and let that be known. Remember, it don't cost you nothing to like or subscribe. We love y'all, man. Peace out.